I am so excited actually about finally starting this. I am just elated that I actually finally did it. You know how you put things off and put things off and you don't do it, but then you're like, hey, why not? So I am happy to be here. So welcome to Ask Tamara Live. I wanted to do this live. A lot of people send me questions all the time. They DM me, they text me, they call me. And I decided, this is a good time to just kind of let everybody know some of the questions that people ask. Because, hey, we all have some of the very same questions. And hey, if you didn't have the question, maybe you can benefit from the answer. So this is Ask Tamara Live. It'll be a combination of my advice column as well as my coaching business. So you'll kind of get questions from all over the place. But to kick things off today, which I thought was very appropriate to do today, is to tackle the three questions that I get asked the most. So before I get into that, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about this show, about myself, and then we will get started. So again, this is Ask Tamara Live. I wanted to let you know the questions that I typically answer. So when I say life, relationships, career, life can be any question that you have. I don't know everything, but I always give my opinion. Sometimes I share my experiences and things I've gone through or things I know some other people have gone through just to share some resources, another perspective. When I talk about relationship, it is not all love relationships, even though I get some relationship questions. I'm talking relationships, whether it be with your husband, your children, your family members, your coworkers. So any kind of relationship that you might have question. Again, I share life experiences, things that lessons I've learned along the way when I talk about that. And then career. And career can be not only just your job, but also a business that you might have. I've started a ton of businesses. I've also had a career before that. So, I was in management. So a lot of what I did, even at when I worked a full-time job, was I helped the employees. One day, it's so funny, when I first started this advice column, I was working a full-time job, and the owner of the company actually came and asked me one time, why is everybody always in your office? And I said, I don't know. I said, but when I looked at it deeper, it was because I was always talking and coaching and helping others. Some of it I shared. I know some people say I share too much of my business, but hey, a lot of times people go through the same things, and it's nice to know that you're not alone or that someone else has gone through what you've went through. So I really started from that perspective. When I started the advice column, it was 2000. I think I started in 2010 is when I actually started, and I started as a blog, and I just would, take people's questions and answer them, and it kind of grew from there. I remember the first time I got a question from one who was out of the country. He was in France, and it was a male, and he asked me a question. And when I answered that, I really knew that I had something, because people just, they need advice sometimes. It's not that someone else has all of the answers and you're not the one making the decision, but it's nice to get a different perspective and just to, hear what someone else has to say when you're making a critical decision or just looking to make some moves. So that's how it all started, as an advice column. And then, of course, it bloomed into a coaching business. And now I coach people on a variety of different topics, more so around, starting a business, living their dreams, whatever that dream may be. Sometimes people just need help how to get started. And since I've done a lot of that kind of stuff, it's just easy for me to share my experiences and share some of the knowledge that I do have. So that's kind of how all this started. And of course, some of you know who I am, some of you don't. So let me introduce myself. I'm Tamara Hartley, your advice guru and how-to coach. And I just have had a variety of experiences in my life that I love sharing with other people. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I have 5 children, yes, 5. So I have 3 daughters, a son, and I have a stepson, my bonus son. When I got remarried, I gained a stepson. So I now have 5 children, and you can imagine just how busy that life has been for me. And it's funny, and I'm just going to share this real quick, because I had a conversation with someone the other day, and when people first started asking me about children, or asking me how to do this and what do you do here and how do you raise 3 girls, and just all the questions they used to ask, I used to say, why is everyone asking me questions about children? But I started thinking about that, and I said, there was a time in my life where I had a child in every stage of development. I had the teenager, the adolescent, the toddler, and the baby all at the same time. So when I think about it from that perspective, I know exactly why people were asking me questions about children. And that's kind of, where I would give most of my advice because, hey, I had some experience there. So that's where that kind of stuff comes from. And, and I was thinking about this the other day, and this is the conversation that I had. And not many people have this experience that I have as far as I've been a parent since I had my first daughter when I was 16 years old. So all of my children are 5 years apart, except for the last two. They're 2.5 years apart. So not many people, by the time my son is 14, about to turn 15. He's in the 9th grade. I have a 16-year-old about to turn 17 who's a senior in high school, and my other two children are grown. But by the time my son graduates, I would have been an active parent for 32 years. Now, let me break this down for you because maybe you didn't get that. Yes, once you're a parent, you're always a parent, but I've been an active parent. I'm talking little league, practice and going to games and just being an active parent. A lot of time people have their kids back to back or just a few years in between. So it's like, you have your kids, you raise them, you do your 18, 22 years, they go to college, they're still kind of under your care, and then you're done and you're kind of free to do some of the things that you want to do with your life. For me, it'll be 32 active years, little league, track practice. And not that I'm complaining about that, it's just a unique perspective that I realized that I have. So I'm going to show you where all this is going, because one of the 3 questions, and I wrote this down because I just didn't want to forget. This is my little note card for today. The 3 questions that I get asked the most are, how do I find the time and energy to do all the things that I do? That's number 1, finding time. Number 2 is, how did I find my purpose and, figure out what it is that I want to do in life? That's the second question. And the third question is, how did I figure out what to do and where to start in all the things that I do? And I'll get into this later and more on more lives as well, just all the different things that I have my hand in and things I try and things like that. But I definitely wanted to start today's show with, how do you find the time and energy to do the things you want to do, especially in light of what I just told you with my 5 children, with my 32 years of parenting coming up. It's not 32 quite yet because my son's a freshman, but by the time he graduates, I would have been an active parent for 32 years. So how do I find the time? If I didn't find time to do the things that I wanted to do, just imagine, there are some people who wait until their kids are good and grown before they actually focus on themselves or do any of the things that they want to do. I would have had to wait for 32 years before I did anything if I did that. So for me, it was imperative that I find the time and energy, not only to be at those football games and track practices and doing all the things that I do, not only to find time to do that, but then also to find time to do me and to do some of the things that I want to do. I do not believe that anyone has to wait. We all only get one life, right? So in addition to being a wife and a mother, you have to find the time and energy to do you and to do some of the things that you want to do. And believe me, the things that I do that I call my personal stuff, who benefits the most besides my children, my family? So it's really not taking anything away from them. It's actually finding enough balance in my life to be able to do a lot of it. I don't do it all, but I do a lot of it. So the question I'm going to answer today is, how do I find the time and energy to do all the things that I want to do? I tell people all the time, I wish I had the magic pill that just gave you perfect life balance, because some people are looking for that perfect life balance and everything you spend in equal time in every part of your life. But the truth is, that's not what balance is. And in that sense, balance doesn't exist to me. Okay. So I'm not so much worried about balance. I'm worried about, how do I find time for the things that matter to me most? Because the truth of the matter is, you don't find time, you have to make it. And people don't want to hear that when I say that you do have to make time. And the only way to make time is to cut some things out of your life. And people don't want to hear that either. People want to figure out how to do it all or how to balance everything. You know, you're trying to be here and there, and you're driving yourself crazy. And then at the end of the day, you got an attitude because you're tired, you're running around, and it doesn't help anybody. So you do have to cut some things out and not find balance, but streamline some things, you know, streamline, cut, get that schedule in order. And that's how you begin to find time. So that is my answer to that question. I do have some tips and resources as to how I find time and the things I do to make more time in my life. In fact, and I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I wanted to share my new website as well, because a lot of this information is on my website, but I wanted to share some. Let me see if I can share my screen really, really fast. I do have the website up, so I just wanted to share it with you all so you can see some of the things that I actually do when I say you got to find some time. And I also have a free resource on my website. Just give me a second here. Let me pull this up. Share my screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. You can let me know when that comes up. Okay, let me pull this over so I can still see that. Okay, so here is my website. This is tamarahartley.com. This is where you can find all of my stuff all in one location. Okay, so you will see here on the very front page, if you go down to the bottom, I have put together just a little guide. Oh, goodness gracious. I got 50 million windows open, so please excuse me if this is lagging a bit. But I always do that. I got 50 million things on my desktop and 50 million things open. Okay, here we go. So if you go down to the bottom of my website right here, there is a way for you to get the 20 strategies that I use most often to make time in my life. Again, you just sign up here and you'll get that for free. But in this guide, I actually list those things that I do pretty much every day to make sure that I have the time and the energy to do those things that I want to do, whether it's start my business, whether it's to make sure I have enough time to, you know, spend with my children, do homework, work on projects, all of that kind of stuff. My tips and tricks are in this document right here. And again, you can get that free on my website. And let me just show you some other things on the site. There's some, you know, you can read my advice column here. I got some of my archives here. You can read through some of that if you would like. I also do some how-to videos, and the how-to videos are also on the site. These are the how-to videos. It's actually part of my YouTube channel, but I also put it on my own website as well. And these are blogs, and the blogs are pretty much some of the same content that's in the videos, just in a different way. You know, one of the things I try to do in my business is make sure that I'm doing what my audience wants to do. So I'll do some lives, I'll do some videos. So for people who want to watch videos in their own time, I'll do some blogs for people who want to sit down and read. There's plenty of people who still want to read today. So I have those. And then also the new thing that I'm doing is taking the audios from my videos. And I may even take the audio from some of these lives and put them in a podcast for people who like to listen on the go, my multitaskers. And believe you me, I am the queen of multitasking. So if I'm walking, if I'm, you know, doing something else where I can listen to something, I always have my earphones in and I like to listen on the go. So I always like to put all the things that I do in audio format as well. So a lot of times you see all this different content on my blog. It's some of the same content, sometimes spent in a different way, but it's really all the same content, just in different modalities. So if you want to watch videos, if you want to listen to audios, or you want to read, I got that covered for you. So this will definitely give you some of those tips and tricks and how I do that. But I am going to still talk about some of those strategies now. I just wanted to make sure I showed you the website and showed you how you could go get that information as well. All right. So again, you'll see my TV, the videos, the podcast, which will be up by this week. You'll also be able to listen to the podcast on the website, but you'll also be able to listen to it in some of your favorite things like iTunes or Stitcher. I'm working on getting all that set up behind the scenes, so that'll be there. The blog is up and running, the advice column, the archives. And as you can see, this advice column how I have it broken down, you know, if there's something specific that you're looking for, you can definitely look for it, because the column is broken down into life, relationship, career. If you have children, questions about children. Oh, I didn't actually want to go to it, but hey, maybe that's what we were supposed to do. So you'll see that I have the advice broken down in various ways. And I, like I said, I answer a variety of questions. So all of these are available as well. And like I said, what we're doing here is just going to be an extension of this. You know, I have some new stuff and some stuff I might share from here if it's timely. But this is how you can go check out the archives. And actually, this is what I was just trying to do. I was just trying to show you how it's broken down: dating advice, career advice, education advice, family advice, friendship advice, love and relationship, marriage, parenting. So it's broken down if you just want to look for something quickly. But this is the website. So I just wanted to share that as an additional resource. And then also, oh, I also want to show you, I give you several ways. And if you watch the video previous to this, there are several ways that if you have a question that you would like to ask while I'm doing these lives, you can send it to me via email at asktamara@tamarahartley.com. You can actually go to my website. And if you see this little brown button right here, if you click on this, it actually opens up a little box where you can actually record your voice live. And this is really cool because it's just like leaving a voicemail. You actually leave your question and I'll give you your answer. I might do it on the live, I might do it on the actual advice column, but I'll give you an option to actually speak and just say it, or you can write it and email it to me as well. You can also send it on any of the social media platforms. Let me stop sharing that. Again, that's my website, tamarahartley.com. And you can also send it to me on any of the social media platforms. I'm on Facebook. If you're on this page, you know that I'm on Facebook. This is my actual business page that you're on right now. And even though I have some other pages, this is the page that I choose to put all of the lives on, simply because it has more of the people that I interact with throughout my business. And it's also just a place, kind of my hub place. So I do have an extra page for Ask Tamara and other things like that, which I may share some of this stuff on those pages, but you are in the right place if you want to see everything that I do. So this is the page that I use for that. So I'm on Instagram, Twitter. If you use the hashtag Ask Tamara, I'll be able to find that easily and answer your questions from there. You can also just email me, like I said, or send me a direct message on social media. Either way, I'll be checking those things and answer your questions from there. So just to recap, because I don't want these to be long every day, just want to come in, answer a question or two, maybe have a discussion about something, and then call it a day. This is really just an informal way for us to connect. So I'm not trying to keep you for hours and just have you listening to me talk, but really just want to engage with you and to start some conversation. So again, today we discuss, how do I find time to do all the things that I do? And I encourage you to stop saying the phrase find time, because no one has found the time. And if you have found some time, then maybe you need to, you know, say something in the comments. Let us know how you found some time. But I know that you don't find time, you make time, and you have to make time for the things that you want to do in this life. You have to make choices and decisions where you spend your time and energy. And a lot of times we don't want to talk about that because we don't want to miss out on anything. You know, I went through that too. You don't want to miss this or miss out on being on that committee or being a part of something. But the truth is, we do have to make some choices about where we spend that time and energy. There's no way that I could be at every track meet or a football game and still do everything that I want to do. So sometimes I do have to sacrifice some things. I don't get to do every single thing. And then times change. So I might not have time this month to do this, but next month I might be able to rearrange some things so that I can participate in something different. So it's really about streamlining and making your own decisions about where you spend that time. Because guess what? You're in charge of your own time. No one else is in charge of your time. So it's you who gets to say, yes, I want to do this, or no, I can't do this. Yes, sometimes you have to say the N word, no. And you are in charge of saying that too, and being able to say that and not feel guilty about why you have to say no, or why you choose to do one activity or over the other. So really, that's your call as well. So really getting into that position. If you download that free document on my website, you'll see the 20 things that I do. But some of that is, you know, I follow a schedule. And I know sometimes schedule just makes people, it seems so rigid and you want to be more free with yourself and your time. But at the end of the day, we all get 24 hours, right? We all have the same amount of time. And what you do with it is it's what you do with it is the important thing. What you do with it. Are you going to do things that move you here, move you forward? Are you going to do things that you love to do? Are you going to do things with the people that you love? Are you going to do things that put you in the place that you say you want to be in? So at the end of the day, you have to make decisions about what you do with your 24 hours. So I actually use a schedule up. You know what? I have a couple of things. This is my daily actions journal. This one is just one that I have. It's not one that's filled in or anything, but this is another way to track your time. If you were to use something like this every day, are you getting done the things you need to get done every day? In addition to following a schedule, one of the things you can do is track your time. Where are you spending time? Where do you have gaps? Where can you combine some things? Are you getting done on a daily basis the things you need to get done so that you can make some other choices with your time and energy? So that's another tool that I use. Another thing that I do is that I have scheduled time every day. So between the hours of 10 to 2, these are the times where I am being productive, what I call my productive hours, where I am working in my business and doing different things in my business. So from 10 to 2, I don't have any distractions. I even have to turn off the notifications on my phone. So I do all of these things intentionally so that I have time and energy to do what I want to do. How many times have you just been running, and you have every intention of working on yourself, working your business, writing a book, all the things that you say you want to do? You have every intention to do that. But by the time you get home, you are pooped. You are like exhausted. And all you want to do with your free time is rest, relax, and recuperate. So being in charge of your time and schedule and being able to schedule things and really be in charge of your day and intentional about what you do every day, that is a way that you have time and energy to do the things that you want to do. So I'm not going to go on and on about that, but I just wanted to say that's one of the questions that I get asked most often. You'll see if you follow me on any of the social media platforms, you might see that in addition to my kids, I'm also, I'm a grandma now, but my grandson will call me Lovely. So I'm a Lovely now. And I also have a couple of businesses that I run. My husband and I have Hartley Unlimited, and we do a variety of different things under that umbrella. I also do some voiceovers and some commercial acting. And I do that. I've been doing that for about maybe the last 10 years. So I do that. And I have a variety of, I have a book club that I'm involved in. I have to spend time with my friends and other family. So I do a variety of different things, just like I'm sure you do. And up until, a while ago, I also had a full-time job on that schedule, so I would go to work and then come home and still do all of these other things. So I know what it's like to have to juggle everything in your life. So I've been there and done that, still doing some of that. So I know that when it comes to having the time and energy, I know some of the tips and tricks that I've had to do to make it happen. Am I always perfect with it? No. Do I always follow the schedule? No. Are there times when I say, you know what, tonight I'm not doing anything? Yes. And that's okay. Sometimes we think we make a schedule and it's a bad thing, or like our schedule's not our friend, or like we don't control it. It's not, a schedule is not meant to box you in or trap you in. How I use my schedule is that, okay, if I have the time and energy to do this, this is the way I want to spend my time and energy. So I use my schedule as that guide, as if I'm going to get it done, this is how I'm going to get it done. So you don't have to be scared of having a schedule. You don't have to be scared of saying no. You don't have to be scared of picking and choosing where you spend your time and energy. There'll be another event, there'll be another party. So you just really have to make a decision that you want to do something, and then make decisions that help you do that thing and stick to it. So that's really all that I have as far as making time in your life and making sure you have the time and energy. And that's how I find time to do all of the things that I do. And I'm one of those people, I do a lot because I like to, I love it. I love it. Sometimes people say you may do too much. Well, that's their opinion because I'm doing all the things that I love and I'm making room, little pieces of room for everything that I love to do. I'm one of those people that I believe in living all my passions, living all my dreams. As long as I create the time and energy to do it, I'm going to do it and I'm going to enjoy it and love doing it. And when I do something and I'm done with it, I put something else in its place. So that's just the way that I operate. It's the way that I like to get things done. It's so funny because someone tell me, I get this all the time actually, and I actually wrote about this in my book. It's one of my chapters. A lot of people like to say things like, you're a jack of all trade, master of none, and sometimes that can make someone feel bad, particularly people like me who are creative and you like dibbling and dabbling in different things, and that can make you feel bad about yourself and bad that you are involved in so many different projects or you like to do so many things. But I did some research and I researched that particular quote, and no one ever seems to finish that quote. So the full quote is jack of all trades, master of none, but most often better than a master of one. When I tell you that freed me to be who I am and do what I do, I understand that I can do a lot of different things and I'm comfortable doing those different many things as much or less as I want to, or that even makes sense, as much as I want to or as less as I want to. If I do 40 voiceovers this month and maybe do 2 next month, so there's different ways that I just decide when and what I want to do and how I want to do it. So if you're like me and you like dibbling and dabbling in multiple things, find the time and energy to do it. Get that free document from my website, figure out which ones work for you. And if you have some that you want to share with me, definitely put them in this stream so that other people can see them as well. You can email me, let me know if some of the strategies work for you. Be creative and come up with your own, because at the end of the day, I can tell you everything I do to find time and all of that. But at the end of the day, everyone's balance is different. What works for me may not work for you and vice versa. So you have to figure out your own strategies. I can share what I do all day long and answer that question for you, but then you have to decide what works for you. So I am going to end on that note. Oh, well, I guess I'm acting like I'm in church now. I'm about to wrap and bring to a close, but I'm gonna start a new point. So one time I was at a track meet, and this really changed my life as to, being a mom. As mom, we like to be super moms. We like to be a great mom. We want our kids to be involved in everything, and we want to be well-rounded, get into the best colleges. So we actually let them sign up for everything, and we run after them, allowing them to sign up for everything. And one time I was at a track meet, and there was this older woman there, and she asked me a question. She says, what are you going to do with your life when your kid, no, she didn't say that. She says, what are you going to do with your life? And as the perfect little mommy answer that I usually give, I said, well, when my kids grow up, I'm going to, and she put her finger up. She says, baby, if you wait until those kids grow up before you start living your life, you're going to live a life of regret. And that kind of shook me that day. And it shook me for a couple of reasons. One, because at that point in my life, I didn't realize that I was supposed to be living my life too. I was being a mommy, being the best mommy I could be, living in my minivan, driving all over the city, changing in the car, eating in the car, going to all these different practices and stuff. My kids were overscheduled. I was overscheduled, but I was being a great mom because I was being involved and I wasn't doing any of the things in my life at that time that I really wanted to do. And so there was a bit of frustration there. And when she said that to me, I started really thinking about that. And I think that's where I had the turnaround where, you know what, there are some things that I want to do in this life. I could be a good mom and still do some of the things that I want to do. And that's really where the change happened for me. And I decided, as much as I wanted to do, I was going to do. So that's when I started the acting and doing the voiceovers. I think in the past life, I might have wanted to go to Hollywood and be an actress, but at that time, that wasn't my calling. It wasn't what I was supposed to do as I was raising my children. It wasn't what I did. So I found a way to be an actress, so to speak, in my own backyard, in my own hometown. So I'm very good at that too. So I get resourceful. If there's something I want to do and I may not be able to do it fully or in the way that, I have commitments to my children, my family, and I don't want to rock those commitments, but I still want to get a taste of it, I'll find a way to do that. And that's where the voiceovers and the acting and all that stuff comes in. So listen to how I just said that. That's how I find the time and energy to do things. So I'll research something, figure out what I can do that fits into my particular schedule that still allows me to do this, this, and this. And I may have to cut something out because I've taken voiceover classes and spent weekends doing different things. So yes, I'm spreading my time around, but I'm still doing what I want to do in addition to being at the football game or the track practice or picking up and dropping off. So it's all about you and how you manage it and what you really want to do. Okay, so for real, I'm done this time. So I'm going to close on that. And that is today's question. How do I find time? Finding time. How do I find the time and energy to do all the things that I do? So tomorrow I'm going to go to the next question that I get asked the most often. And that's, how did I find my purpose? And, how did I know what business I wanted to start? Those kind of questions. So I'm going to talk about that on tomorrow. So make sure you join me tomorrow. I'll be here around 12:30. That's the time I put on my schedule that I'm going to get on every day around 12:30. Come live and just answer your questions. Again, if you want to send me a question or you have something you would like to discuss or just have a conversation about, you can send it to me at asktamara@tamarahartley.com. You can also go back to my website, leave me a recorded voice message, and I can get it from there, or just talk with me on any of the social media platforms using the hashtag asktamara, just so that I can easily find it, or direct message me. There's plenty of ways for you to get your question to me. Again, you can watch this live or you can watch it at your own convenience. It's going to be on the Tamara Hartley page. And Facebook does have an address for my Tamara Hartley page, and it is www.facebook.com, of course, /I'm Tamara Hartley. So on all social media, I'm also I'm Tamara Hartley. So I am Tamara Hartley. So that's how you can find me. That's how you can send me your questions. And I hope that you join me. I'll be here every day to leave you a message and answer some questions, and you can just listen at your own convenience. I'll also, like I said, try to get these on a podcast as well, so you can listen. Maybe you can listen on your way to work or while you're exercising or doing something that you love to do. But thanks for joining me here. I look forward to connecting with you every day. So have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.